We're going to start this little chapter of learning today. If you open your ears, you might just learn something, okay? There's a whole new generation of battery chargers out, and I have a buddy. Hey, you need this, you need that. His battery charger was almost $300, okay? Now, he only does what I do, okay? This is if you're the backyard mechanic and you want to learn something, okay? These new generation batteries, once they usually go dead, okay, you need a special charger to revive them, okay? That's why my old charger, it basically went in the shit can, because these are a high capacitance battery. What do I mean? Usually right about here somewhere, okay, either traveling that way up the battery or this way, there's a large capacitor, and these are an acid gel, AGM batteries, okay? They're an acid gel managed battery, which means this is why you don't get that crystalline forming around these new generation AGM batteries. And that's how you get the cold cranking amps of almost 900, okay? There's only two makers of these batteries anymore, Exide and Deca. That's why an interstate battery looks like that now. You see it? It's all black. Now, just about 3-4 years ago, when I bought this battery, this is what they looked like. They were green. And there. We had a gremlin in the Super Sport. We had a drawdown. And I'm thinking it was the body control module, because she's all ripped apart. And because of the weather, I did not get to clean my trucks. That is going to happen today. Okay? But another reason why I can't get anything done, and it's the reason why I make videos for guys like you, this was the only part of this truck that needed to get replaced, was that shock mount. It's an upper shock mount. Okay? Goes right here. I knew it was rusty, and I knew I had to weld a patch in the frame, so I got my patch all cut out. That's why the bolts are there. So I made sure the patch is going to fit on the frame, and I made an inner and an outer patch, and I don't know what I did with them. I had them hanging up. I think the one was hanging out here. Maybe I took both of them in. I'll go get one of them real quick. See, everything's still a mess. I've got nothing done. Nothing at all, as I say. So I'm going to put the viewfinder, and that charger right there, that will revitalize a battery, an AGM battery. It breaks up the gel inside of it, especially when it congeals in really, really cold weather. But let me show you what I did. When you have 1,000 things to do, okay, this will fit the new mount, okay? Because of the way things are and the roads busting up vehicles faster, then I can fix them, okay? I wasn't that pressed to get that shock mount, okay? Because my uncle has a salvage yard. I think I had in my video out there. If anybody wants to know, it's called Collis Trucks, CT Trucks in Northampton. And there's also another place where they do frame and suspension work, four-wheel drive. They do axles and drive shafts. They actually advertise that on their website. They do a lot more like drive shaft and drivetrain stuff. So I made two plates, an inner and outer, okay? That's the only side that really had a hole. The other side was repaired with plates professionally, just like I would have done it. So I'm not worried about the other side. That's still in good shape, but that was bad. And this is what's happening is the roads here in Pennsylvania, they are falling apart. And I mean literally falling apart, okay? And your tax dollars here in Pennsylvania, they're hosing it up. They're upping all the fees. People aren't going to be able to afford a house, okay? Nobody's bringing anything here. Nobody has any money. Not like I said, I gave like 21, 30 estimates in the spring because I'm only open from April to November. Basically, I shut down. Nobody could afford anything, okay? And food is just going up and up. Gas is just going up and up. I got like, I put like $25 in the other day and I got like 4 gallons of gas. Holy shit. So, you guys, a lot of people throw this stuff away. They get it out of the box, they start pressing buttons like a monkey, okay? I do condemn these companies for making this print like so microscopic, but if you read these instructions, okay, on that can save you some money. And that's why I make these videos, so people learn things, okay? So what was wrong with the Super Sport was China struck again. I have undercarriage lights on that. See, these are, like I said, I have a work truck that's basically, that's decked out to, but it's decked out to do work, okay? This truck is basically my son's toy, my other son. There are our trucks, okay? So I have undercarriage lights that run the length of the truck underneath, because my generation, that's showing my age, we used to cruise what was called the Allentown Circuit. We used to cruise the Northampton Circuit. Hell, a couple times, we were starting to run a circuit up there in Penargil and Bangor, but it was too much fuel and too much time to get up there. But that was my life. We still were like children coming out of we were raised by children of the 1950s, right after World War II. Cruising became very popular, especially on the West Coast. Cruising really didn't become popular until our time here, like in the 70s and 80s. Cruising was really, really popular. And now the cops, because of the way people act, that they've got to spin the tires at every corner, and they've got to have super loud cars at midnight. Well, now the cops clamp down on it. So you're not really going to, you are not going to have that type of lifestyle and enjoy that. But we do still have legal cruise nights here. So pay attention to these things, because you can have a failure a minute if you do not read your instructions. That right there revived that battery and the other one that I have. So I have two spares now, which my other charger, they're made for lead acid. They have a continuous charge cycle. That has a recycle on it, okay? Take your back off, okay? You can actually check your battery, and you can actually check your alternator, and that's how I found out my Super Sport is just fine, okay? There I go, I'm hitting buttons again. I hope I didn't shut anything off. Okay, I do not recommend this with computerized trucks. Something like that that's carbureted, okay, no computers, no nothing. That it could even burn out a fuel pump. I don't know how much voltage that puts out. These trucks, the GM trucks, okay, unlike a lot of the predecessors in the 80s, this has a microprocessor that'll shut the circuit off, but I still don't recommend doing it, okay? Then you can also check your alternator, and that's your recycle button, okay? That'll go from 15 amp all the way down to 1.5 amp, and it goes back up and down. And you'll see the scale. You'll see it cycle and recycle. I put the amp to see how much it was I put an amp meter on it, my multimeter, and it was going from about 1.5 amps all the way up to about 25 amp, and then it would subside and go back down. That's how you revitalize an AGM battery, okay? So hopefully you learned something today, and yes, China struck me again. This is the relay. That's what was wrong, okay? It's been in the truck 3 years, so there was nothing wrong with the relay or my wiring or anything, okay? It just went bad and started shorting, which was drawing all the juice right out of the battery. Now, how it did that, I don't know for such a little device, but it is a circuit, and the circuit remained open. So, I got to get welding, and then I have grass to cut Friday, because we're going to get this other truck together. We're going to get the heads on it, okay? The future for aftermarket auto parts, like I told you, and these shops, the more equipment that they sell, like this charger, okay? Let me rephrase this, okay? These shops are becoming obscene with their prices, okay? Here we have Pennsylvania State Inspection, okay? My inspection's out. I've made 3 appointments, and finally the guy where I take it to get it inspected says to me, oh, my guy, he finally admits, quit. So he has no state inspection license mechanic. So these other places, I called, right? And here's what they tell you. And this is what I tell you not to do. Oh, drop it off. No, 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 no. And number two, a guy almost got his ass kicked where I was going to have it inspected. I told him 3 times, do not open that fucking hood. And when somebody like me that's a retired military or commander, when I say don't open my fucking hood, I went right over and almost grabbed him by the throat. I mean, I was right in his face. So what are you doing? Well, I have to open it for inspection. I said, no, you don't. I said, I was a state inspection mechanic, and you do not have to open that fucking hood. I said, you can put it up on the lift and look at it. Well, don't you want your fluids checked? No, I'm not a moron. Okay? And I'm not 90 years old. I'll check my own fucking fluids. Thank you. I couldn't say it nicely, and there's no way to say it nicely even in the video without using the F word. What part of don't open the effing hood don't you understand? So that's why when they say to me, drop it off, we'll get to it. Well, when are you going to get to it? Well, you know what? Being single and whatever, I don't have another ride to drop it off, number one. I want an appointment, and I want to be able to keep an eye on my vehicle, okay? There was a time when I had another vehicle, and I took it over. When I first moved here, I had nice wheels and tires on it. I come to pick it up, and my truck's sitting outside on cinder blocks. And I know the shop, and I went in and I says, why? Oh, he said, we just called the troopers, and you probably have to call your insurance. I have to call my insurance? You had my vehicle. My wheels and tires are missing. Asshole. No, I will not drop my vehicle off unless it is something major that is absolutely necessary. I understand you're not going to do a major repair overnight, but then I don't want to get it back with 10 other things wrong with it. Now, that comes to another thing that happens here. You take one thing apart and something else is bad. That can happen. But learn to be literate that you can help yourself, because when they say drop it off, look, that's bad news for all of us. Drop it off. You don't know who's around your vehicle. Might not even be somebody related to them. Okay? The other, what was it that Tony told me? My neighbor took his truck to get inspected, and by the time he came out, he was having coffee in the place. He said there was a bum sleeping in the bed of his truck. He said they went to pull it into the shop, and he said there's a guy sitting up in the back of his truck. I said, Tony, you weren't smoking anything. Oh, no, just my cigars. And I'm like, okay. Well, it turns out I said something when I was out there, because I buy parts and things from them. They do like salvage, interchange parts and core. If you need a core, they have a lot of cores. Right now, the guys aren't coming around for scrap like they used to, since scrap value's down. So if I need, say, a core alternator or something, I can go out and slip the guy $5, and I got a core to take, somewhere. Don't drop your vehicle off. So I mentioned it at the shop, and the guy says, oh yeah, that did happen. And he says, that guy's hanging around here, and he's peeing on the parking lot and peeing in other people's properties. It's a wonderful society we have right now. Joe and the hoe gotta go. So that's my video. Learn to do things for yourself. And these instructions to everything you buy. I wish auto parts came with them, which they don't. This battery charger, this Everstart, I got at Walmart. I think it was like $75 till it was out the door. There's another one, it's only I think a 20 amp or something. 50 amp is fine for these vehicles, okay, for a gas engine. Now, like my buddy that bought the 200 amp, he doesn't have any diesel. If you have a diesel, say you have an F350, which I do, but then again, I have a bigger charger down at my shop where I keep that thing that I could just, it's kind of like putting the electrodes to my nipples. It'll get you going. It's a big charger. That thing was probably made in the 70s sometime. It's a Deca charger. Back when Deca made something that was worth a shit, I bought that charger. I actually got it at a flea market or whatever for maybe $100 I paid for it, or probably today you'd probably pay $500-600 for a good hefty size charger like that. And that one does have cycle features on it, but I don't have instructions. I could probably get them off the internet. But remember, okay, there's a whole new generation of cars and a whole new generation of batteries and auto parts out there. And that's where, like I said, where Jegs really ruined my summer with what they did to me. Okay? I'm going to buy as very little there. When they start doing that to a customer, shitting all over you like that, I'm going to buy as little as possible from Jegs anymore. Just so Jegs keeps a mental note of that. Okay? I'm a nice guy, but I sure as hell did not deserve what Jegs did to me. Okay? I took a great financial loss. The block now has a nice coating of rust. Instead of, I put plastic and paper with oil. but we've had so much moisture and rain, it did not make a difference. It came right through the oil. And do you think I like putting oil all over a mating surface when I'm going to put a gasket and having to take it and screen it, scrub it and sanitize it? Okay, jegs hurt me this summer, not to mention all the extra running around and shit that I had to do when screwing up my schedule. Thanks, jegs. You know, thanks for ruining my summer. All right. Please learn to be literate and read the instructions, especially when you buy these new generation products and auto parts. Whatever information you can find on it can be invaluable. It can mean the difference between you running back and having to get another one or doing the job right the first time. So that's as nice as I can be. I hate to be foul in my videos, but I've had a whole summer of bad parts, missing parts, broken parts, no parts. Now we got the UAW strike because I needed information from the GM dealers and didn't get it. I'm deeply saddened at the condition of this country, not to mention my own financial shape and people canceling out, me not being able to get even a vehicle inspected. It's really a sad state of affairs here in Pennsylvania. Thank you, guys.